Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I'm very happy to introduce my today's special guest, Mr. Arsim Vranovci from Kosovo, who is an attorney. I would like to remind that this TV show will be broadcasted at Media Inform TV channel in Odessa and also on our partner channel, Free Georgia channel in Georgia. So, Mr. Vranovci, I'm very happy that you actually agreed to give this interview. Thank you very much.
Thank you also for the invitation. First of all, I would like to say that Kosovo people feel the same feelings towards Ukraine, and wherever we go and we say glory to Ukraine and slava to Ukraine, because the people of Ukraine are really doing something which is showing the world how you defend your country. Similar to our nation, Kosovars, who has been the same situation in '99, and we passed the war, so now we are free and we empathy your nation for fighting this aggression towards your country.
Well, you were in better position. At least you didn't have a neighbor with the nuclear weapon.
That was true, but also we had, luckily, beside our fighters, we had also NATO in our side, so they intervened. But I know that you are alone and you are trying to do the best that you can to defend your country. It's very important that the people of Kosovo understand your situation. And luckily, we have tried to help Ukraine with some medicaments. Some journalists are in Kosovo, and people who are willing to come here, like women and children, they are more than welcome.
Traditionally, we consider that Balkan countries, they have, let's say, different opinions towards Russian invasion into Ukraine. For instance, we see that Croatia helped enormously, and also we know that Kosovo helps Ukraine, but at the same time, Serbian government traditionally has very close links to Russia. And obviously it contradicts European agenda and the willingness of Serbian people, at least Serbian elite, to join European Union. So you probably know many people, you probably know many people in Serbia. You communicate with them. So what is, let's say, what is their mood towards, let's say, Russian invasion into Ukraine? What are your impressions?
Look at the Serbian people do not take it for granted for all, because they are not all of them with Russia, but majority of them are, because the Russian link between Serbia and them is very strong, because they think that with the Kosovo situation, you know, the only thing that they can survive and they can hold Kosovo progress is through Russian in United Nations Security Council. The same opinion right now is going in Serbia, because people of Serbia think that by supporting Putin and his dictatorship and aggression towards your country, they will win, and then their position will be stronger. Also, the only satellite of Russia in the Balkan area, and basically in Europe, because all of us, we are part of Europe, our neighbors are in European Union, and they are the only one who has supported Ukraine. And it's not just the politics, also the people there in Bosnia and Herzegovina, Republika Srpska, they all has gone to the street with a Z sign into their cars, and do not thinking that till some, let's say 1 year before, Ukrainians was also there, the country that they did not recognize Kosovo, and they was telling them, you are a good friend of us. Now the good friends of us became a victims of one huge country and aggression towards people who are only trying to fight for their country. You did not go to fight in St. Petersburg or in Moscow. They came to Kharkiv, to other countries, And Odessa, they also attacked Odessa because Lviv and Kiev and Bucha, all these signs, there was signs that the Russians, they did not come only to fight. They came also to delete a territory of the independent country, which is recognized by by the United Nations. Ukraine did not just fight. Ukraine has defended the borders of EU, because after Ukraine, if they will succeed in Ukraine, the next war will be in European Union. That's going to be us, I think, between Kosovo and other countries, or Bulgaria, Poland, which are supporting you, Estonia, Lithuania. All these countries will be in the dangers, because if they attack a country of 44 million inhabitants with the army, with the territory, what's going to stop them to attack Moldova? You know, the part of Moldova which is under their, let's say, military. It's easy for them because they just needed to go with the ships over there and then start another war. So it's not going to be just Ukraine, and Ukraine is defending. Now you see the whole world, European Union is supporting Ukraine in every game, in every whatever it's happening in the world. There is a sign that we want Ukraine to win, and everybody wants Ukraine to win, and Ukraine will win. The victims, people, the army, the children, the women, the older people, they're all victims of foreign aggression. And sooner or later, they will pay the price, because the Russian people, when they wake up from this bloody dream that he made them to dream, they will understand that they attack another one country that did not have any interest to have a fight with Russia, because it's the same as we did. In '99, they started the aggression toward Kosovo, started killing people. More than 20,000 was killed, more than 1 million deported. The same situation is with your country. Kosovars, wherever they go, whatever they say, they are with Ukraine. We had a meeting against Russian aggression. Our government imposed the sanction to everything. Even we know that in this situation, Ukraine government cannot deal with Kosovo issue, because they need to deal with the border to fight every night, every day. Today, we see that it was attacked also the Kiev, your country. We saw the bombs. Tomorrow, we don't know. Before you and I started the interview, I was thinking with my wife, because we work together, and she was saying, I hope that there is no bomb in Odessa, because normally you will not be able to get an interview. This is the feeling that we have. This is the feeling that, because we know how it is to be in the house and to wait, bomb, where it's going to come, from this side or from the other side. Because you have also another dictatorship country, Lukashenko, because it's not anymore Belarusia, it's a Lukashenko country. Belarusian people will not fight against the Ukrainians. They don't have to do it, because you didn't do anything to them, but they came together with this army to attack you. So the government of Belgrade, today, the three countries in Balkan, they stopped their territory, air territory. So they didn't allow Lavrov to come and make a presentation in Belgrade. What he gonna tell? He gonna tell that he's fighting neo-Nazis in Ukraine? Which are those? Which are those? Let us tell everybody, because they know that they're lying. They're telling their people what is neo-Nazis. Tell me where it is. A country who was chosen by the people. Zelensky is not a choice of one person. He's a choice of the people. He's there. Your country is there. Odessa, which is one of the most beautiful city in the Ukraine, to be attacked. For what? Did you go to Moscow to attack them? So this is the linkage. This is the linkage that Serbian government still did not understand. The Ukraine will not lose. Ukraine will win in the end.
Mr. Sif, now our countries, they both face challenge to become member of European Union.
Yes.
And right now there is only one Balkan country which managed to join the European Union. This is Croatia from 2014. And unfortunately, still, we don't see a green light for our countries and the willingness of let's say, major Western European powers to allow our countries to become members of European Union. Some people say that the reason why there is no backup for this integration among Western European allies is that they are afraid that Balkan countries, together with the Baltic countries, with Ukraine, Poland, they will create and they will be a very powerful power inside the European Union. And even if we look to the Treaty on Functioning European Union, we will see that if our states, let's say, will create or will elaborate a common position, then we can simply create and resist many initiatives which can come from big players like Germany and France, and they're afraid of it. What is your opinion? What we are supposed to do? Because your people and Ukrainians, they want to join the European Union, NATO as well, but unfortunately we don't see a real perspective. We hear many words, but unfortunately we don't hear terms when we can become, as well as you, member of European
Union. I used to work in many European projects in Kosovo and also abroad. The European Union bureaucratic issue is that they will still think similar to now. Kosovo doesn't have a visa liberalization, for example, even we fulfilled all the criteria. Then for now, they are prolonging for 5 years on. The same when you applied for European Union membership, they will, similar to that, they will go and they will discuss and they will hold the meetings in order that to come to one agreement, that just to start a negotiation. And then after starting negotiation, it will come again 10 years till will be given a green line for access to the EU. And then again for 10 years. That's not the way now the politics should work. According to my opinion, European Union should think in a different way. We have a Russian aggression towards you, country. We will have, Russia is not alone in this world. We know that they have allies as well. Those will become stronger now because they already tried. They tried with Kosovo, Serbia. They tried Russia with Ukraine. Tomorrow another country will try with another, let's say Chinese with Taiwan. So European Union will always be with the open mouth that we are willing to accept all these countries like Georgia, Ukraine, Moldova, and Kosovo, as well as Bosnia, Albania, as well as North Macedonia, and Bosnia and Herzegovina. But they shut up the situation when it's coming to Serbia. If this, the political view of Serbia will be, let's say, towards Ukraine in favor, and Kosovo will be, we know that they will froze with us all the relationship. So they are not closing with them. But we saw when your president has delivered the note that he wants to join the EU, and they says that we will give you a guidelines, how you to apply to you. This situation, everybody was saying, what the European Union think about this? Is this a time now to check up that you fulfill the criteria, which is corruption, or let's say free movement, or goods, competition law, or what it is? Right now, in the door of Europe, there is a war, which is war is continuing for more than 100 days. I think that European Union, if will be a stronger union, should accept all these countries, set up the criteria which you need to fulfill, let's say for 10 years. You should fulfill all these criteria. That's it. We can do this, but we need to start from somewhere. And then that somewhere is still not, we don't know where it's going to come. And in your situation, which is worse than us, at least we are at home, free right now. But in your situation, they should be really working fast in order that it will be Russia knowing that they are fighting with one European Union country.
So let me draw some comparisons. So as far as I understood you, you mean that European Union has to open doors for our countries to allow us to become member of European Union and to give us, let's say, 10 years to finish the adjustment of our legislation, etc., to European Union acquis communautaire. Yeah.
Yes.
So basically, we can compare this with some jurisdictions which allow, for instance, to create some entities like association, like partnership, and while they are in operation, to register them legally. So basically, this is the type of, let's say, consideration which you offer. First of all, you allow us to join, and then we will have a stimulus to work faster on our goals.
That will be the most important, because you cannot always say to the countries that you know, this year we will check your application, or you fulfilled one chapter of the acquis, or you fulfill this condition. Instead of you know, the fast solution will be, because now it's a war. It's not anymore that the situation, you know, we can have a meetings. There is no time for meetings, not just for you. Now the prices from the war Ukraine has raised up in every country. Economical situation is not like it was before. Many people will suffer, and mostly the poor, from the wheat that you are not able to deliver into the Europe and the world. The thing is that now European Union has a chance to really accept, and they work. They did a lot of the work in Ukraine, a lot of the projects, a lot of the things. Why should waste them and give to the Russian, thinking that they are fighting with Ukraine? Ukraine isn't right now neither in European Union, neither in United States, neither in any other union. It's a solo country. So with solo country, you can do whatever you want. You can fight, you can kill them, and in the end, that's it. And that, you know, it's a differently, because if Ukraine will be and all other countries will be member of European Union, everybody will say that, oh, they are fighting one European Union country. They're not fighting with the name Ukraine or European Union member states. So European Union member states then will have easy, not just to bring what you needed right now, which is tanks, planes, but everything, because then it's support of one country to the union. So it's not giving you money and wait till the situation. I mean, the Russian is already occupying 20% of your territory. We watch the news, everybody in Kosovo, in every store, in every cafeteria, you see everybody watch the news from Ukraine. Everybody knows what is going there. And I think the world knows what is going on there. Right now, they should not wait till we fulfill paperwork. Paperwork can be fulfilled later. Now start admitting the countries: Kosovo, Montenegro, Albania, North Macedonia, and Bosnia and Herzegovina. Go to Georgia, Moldova, and Ukraine, and finish the circle. Because with this way, they will show also to the people of Europe, we are not wasting the time, money, and we are not sending to Ukraine, but we are sending to our member state. Because in union, you are not only your country, you are a member state of that union.
So basically, you call for the second big enlargement.
You know that in 20th June will be the summit of European Union.
For sure.
And some people of goodwill, like Kathy, Günther, and many people, they are doing protest petitions for Ukraine, join European Union, Kosovo, join European Union, visa liberalization for Kosovo. So there are a lot of the movements which they are trying to tell to European Union that there are countries that are waiting enlargement to start. All these 20 years, we heard about the new enlargements, the countries. The last, it was Croatia, as you mentioned. Croatia now it's also in Eurozone. Croatia is ex-Yugoslavia country like Kosovo and other countries. Normally, good that they are accepted, but we should have a chance also that Albania is near to be accepted. They are waiting for another evaluation. In this situation, Albania was quite supportive toward Ukraine, their state, they are a member of United Nations. Now they are leading the Security Council. So Albania's role in this moment is very influential because in United Nations Security Council, the Ukraine has a chance to tell to the world what is going on. So accepting all these countries will be easy for them. We will not make a blocks because we know that we cannot. They are already there. We don't go to attack them. We go to support them.
Mr. Arsim, you represent Kosovo, and Kosovo is really a very interesting country. Unfortunately, I haven't been to Kosovo, but I hope to arrive to Kosovo in the future, for sure, to visit Kosovo in the future. And I would like to talk about the brand, the Kosovo brand, which is very important because each country needs to create its own brand to attract investments, to attract people, because even in the European Union, countries compete with one another to gain more investments and more attention from other Europeans, let's say. During the last 20 years, 15 years, Baltic countries managed to become the most technically developed countries. Estonia is a very good example, which now offer e-residency, an opportunity for people from other European member states, or even Ukraine, Belarus, and even Russia before the war, to become a resident, to establish a business, a virtual business, and to run a company in European Union. Estonia is ranked, one of the first countries for doing business, and it is a very popular country for doing business in Europe. And some even consider Baltic countries like offshore country in the sense that it's very easy to do business there, comparing to Western European states, which are more regulated. So what are advantages of your country? What can you offer for Ukrainians, for investors, for crafty people who want to try themselves doing business abroad?
Kosovo is a young country. In 2008, we declared independence. Right now, it's accepted more than 160 places from the worldwide. Basically, in Kosovo, the tax situation is very, very affirmative for companies to come and invest in Kosovo. We are very flat rate of investors. Opening the company, it takes only 24 hours. It's all online. You don't need to have a Kosovo citizenship in order to have the company. You don't need to have an address and everything. You can do it online as well. The registration is a very speed process. Taxes, corporate tax is 10%. VAT is 18%, which is an advantage of Kosovo is we have a very youth population. Our mid-age is 25. So basically, Kosovars are very young people, very motivated to work and very knowledgeable. Basically, everybody in Kosovo speaks English. It's not about the English, it's really in high-level English. Because after the war, most of the donors in Kosovo has invested billions of euros in order that now we are in the stage that companies from Kosovo provide solutions to many European companies as well as the United States. Kosovo businessmen are quite known because some people from Kosovo used to work with Ukrainian companies in steel sector. Now they miss this. That's the reason the price of the steel in Kosovo has increased to 100% and more, because of Mariupol factory, which is one of the largest in world, basically. So Kosovo has good production of many things, and we are exporting because we have an MCA signed with European Union, so our goods can go from Kosovo directly to European Union without taxes. Just you pay for transport, so there is no customs to be paid, because Stabilization Association Agreement was signed in 2015, and so we continue to do with this quite good. Companies in Kosovo produce windows, doors. They produce a lot of the goods, and we used to send. We did not have a good business relationship with Ukraine because of Ukraine did not recognize Kosovo. The ambassador of Ukraine, in many occasions, was stating now he stopped. Thanks God, he stopped from Belgrade, saying that Ukraine will never recognize Kosovo. So it was clearly to the people of Kosovo, even Günther, you know him, and a lot of the people try to have a lot of the bilateral meetings with Ukrainian people in order to tell them that Kosovo situation doesn't have to do with any other. It is sui generis because the International Court of Justice has a verdict that Kosovo independence was clear, that it was not a violation of international rules, so laws. So Ukraine did not recognize. We did not have with Ukraine neither B2B, neither a forums, economical forum, because of our relations were. Right now, you people and us from Kosovo, I'm not just an attorney, I'm a businessman as well. I have a very big company in Kosovo. We are eager to know that I hope that first the war will be stopped. The Ukraine will win, should win, because if the Ukraine don't win, we don't have to discuss about anything, because that's the soonest later in the next few years, the same situation will come in our doors as well. So we will forget about the business, we will take guns, and then we will be all in the front like you, which you are now. But what if the situation change? I think you and all the people of Ukraine should understand Kosovo people doesn't have anything against your country, and we are willing to cooperate financially to do the business, to organize a trade delegations into Ukraine, and which I will be leading because I'm the president of one part of the Kosovo. It's called Gjilani Business Council. I'm a president of that. We have 1,700 businesses who are members of our association, and we sure we will come to visit Ukraine because our mind and every night are with the Ukrainian people. We know where you are. Business, wait for the new markets. Ukraine give us the world, give a lot of the goods, but I think it's time that also the goods from our country come and be presented to you. It was impossible to Ukraine because Ukrainian government did not recognize Kosovo passport. It was impossible. Basically, you have to have a special permission to enter to Ukraine. And you know, the special permission to Ukraine, it takes long time. You need to know the embassy of Ukraine in Albania, then to wait for a month in order to organize something. I hope that this will change now. Kosovo has good brands. We are really quite good in doing business. In doing business, which is World Bank report, we are in 43 position. Basically, we are in very good position because we have eliminated all the permits. It's very easy to come and invest in energy, in wastewater, in any sectors, but you just need. You can be registered in Kosovo as a potential investor, and then you benefit from taxes. And as you're investing, for example, 2 million euro for 5 years, you will not pay taxes. So all these incentives are to be driven in the future, and people in Ukraine, businesses in Ukraine should know this. There is a time which we left till now, which it was impossible to come. Now, as you mentioned, you would like to come to Kosovo, we invite you as well, but also we like to say to you, Ukrainian government, because I hope that your TV address will also tackle the politician. Please, it's not time to recognize Kosovo, we know this, because of your situation, but it's time to eliminate, because the Greece doesn't recognize Kosovo. 5 European Union countries don't recognize Kosovo, but they recognize our passport. So basically, it's a chance to work. They recognize our passports, we travel there freely, we do everything, but they don't recognize states. So if in this situation they can recognize state, they can recognize our passport, so they leave the businesses of Kosovo. Because after the war, also you will need a humanitarian aid. You know how much troubles Kosovo has to go through the Red Cross in order to bring 2 trucks of medicaments to your country. A lot of the troubles. Why? Because first of all, you have to go through the Red Cross, and the Red Cross to be accepting, because Kosovo is not recognized by the world. So then the customs, your customs did not understood what is Kosovo, because they don't know, they don't have the list of the countries and are this. So basically they can eliminate something in order that to leave the people. We have a population of Albanians in Ukraine. There are some villages, and we saw them in some TV shows because they still continue, and Ukrainian government give them the full freedom. They can speak, they can learn in their languages. That's Europe. Ukraine is a part of Europe. It's not far away because you're bordering with European Union countries. So the call is that Kosovars would like to have a partnership with the Ukrainian people. Ukrainian people, wherever they come here, they are more than welcome. The government of Kosovo has already released a lot of the calls that we can accept to 5,000 people in it to put them into the safe houses so they can live normally, women and children, and not to stay in bedrooms and in the streets of wherever they go, because it was a time that more than 1 million Albanians was accepted by the world. We even had refugees from Kosovo to Australia and United States, United Kingdom, Portugal, Spain, Madrid, whatever. So Paris. So these people, which we saw in TV, it's people that they need to stay somewhere. So Kosovo government was willing to accept, because those are our capabilities. We are only 1.8 million inhabitants. So basically our capability is not to accept more, but 5,000 can come, because the Kosovo government has given a commitment to that. We were willing. Now that, for your information, for the information of Ukrainian people, the mining team, the teams who are finding for mines, they are trained by Kosovo Peace Corps, security forces. So your people who will save lives of millions of people, because after you return your home, that's most dangerous, because we faced with this. The people will go, for example, after the removal from area of Kiev and other area, Russia will leave the bombs, the mine. So those people are already the third group of Ukrainian people coming to Kosovo. Who has done this? Kosovars, because we have the same situation, because the Serbia left Kosovo, but they left us millions of mines. And after the war, more than 1,000 people were killed through them. The same will happen to you. But Kosovars, Kosovo security forces, even we know there is no mutual agreement with the government. They says Ukraine is need, now we are for them. So they accepted them, and they are training them every day.
Mr. Arsim, I really got surprised from what you said, that actually now Kosovo offers an opportunity for Ukrainians to open business in Kosovo remotely, like for instance Estonia. So am I understood you correctly that now Ukrainians who want to do business in Kosovo, they don't even need to come to Kosovo, they can do everything remotely, opening a bank account, running their business, etc. So like
everything
in Baltic countries.
Everything, because the Kosovo government is trying to do the e-government, basically all electronically. Most of the businesses which are they operate from let's say from United States.
Really?
They have here the branches. They are registered. They don't need, because if you want to attract big companies, their managers, their owners will never come to the Kosovo because they don't have time to do this. They will just send somebody, lawyers like me and others lawyers. You're open. You have power attorney signature, and then you open the business to them. They operate. They don't need to come. You don't need to have office space. because you need to register it, and that's it. And you can work, you can pay taxes, everything online. There is no need to go to the bank. There is no need to go. You just open the bank account through the attorney, and then you pay the taxes. You have everything online. Nothing is anymore which you need to go to the institution. It's e-government is going very well. And for 2-3 years, we will do everything online. So there is no need for anything anymore to go to visit tax administration to this, because you can pay the taxes directly from the system, which is simple. It's very easy. You just need the bank to link with your account, which you have in tax administration office. It's called e-tax, and then you just do there. You pay the taxes.
So basically, even though Ukraine did not recognize Kosovo, it's still possible for Ukrainians to open bank accounts in Kosovo, to running the business there.
Of course, they are all a possibility, because that's what we are saying. Even Ukraine did not recognize Kosovo. Kosovo government is open to anybody. Kosovo government doesn't have anything against the Ukrainian people. They're more than welcome to do the business with us. We will be, for example, you and many of colleagues that now I know from Ukraine. We will be happy to organize the first economical Kosovo and Ukraine economical forum after the war, and then we can bring people to Ukraine, but also we can wait the people, businessmen from Ukraine coming to Kosovo to do the business.
Mr. Arsim, because we're running out of time, I would like to ask you the last question about the bureaucracy in Kosovo. This is a crucial question for Ukraine, because obviously, even though now all Ukrainian politicians, they resist Russian aggression, they do their best to fight for Ukrainian freedom against Russian aggression. We understand that corruption is a big problem still for Ukraine, and it was a problem before the war. And this was one seriously weak point which prevented us from, let's say, more closer relations with the European Union before the war. Yeah, the war changed many things, but we are talking about the period before the war. And obviously, corruption is not a unique feature of Ukraine. Corruption actually is something which exists even in the European Union, and I think our audience can look to the website of European Commission and find many reports with the general estimation of corruption level in the European Union, which really goes extremely high, up to 100 billion euro per year, yeah, which is not much, but still this is enough, yeah, for European Union. So what are your government, what is your government doing in order to fight corruption? Just generally, how can you assess the level of corruption in your state, because you are also, let's say, post-communist state, yeah, because Yugoslavia used to be a communist state.
Yes, look at after the war, it was everywhere in the world. The corruption started from the low level. It's not started from the big level, so it came to the high level in the years. Right now, and in the previous years, the Kosovo understood that all of fighting corruption, it's one of the key to go to the European Union, and one of the key to every report, which it was. Right now, with the corruption, we stand quite good compared to the regions. There is still need to fight. There are a lot of the high politicians, businessmen in the jail. Government of Kosovo doesn't anymore just fight in the words. We know now what we should do, and everybody understood that the role of judiciary it's to bring to the justice those people who came. Now we will do the vetting in justice system. So all the judges will go through the vettings, the same with the prosecutors. So it's one step forward to move to the clean judiciary and clean prosecutor as well. So then it will continue, the vetting will continue to all other institutions, ministries, high officials. Declaration of their income is obligatory to the level of, or basically all the directors of the institutions. Ministries are obliged to declare their fortune to the anti-corruption agency. We are right now, how say, changing the system. Judiciary before it was with the old people who are more prior to the because the salaries was very poor. Right now, the judges, prosecutors, they have very good salaries compared to the others in the regions. So normally, as soon as the level of salary is higher, less chance you to get corrupted because you think about your career and you want to have it something in your life. So me as a member of Chamber of Advocates in Kosovo, we see this every day. I was also in some TV channels saying that now the situation has changed, luckily for Kosovo. In this regard, we are quite good. And it was also foreseen in many reports that Kosovo is slowly getting out from the mud that it was with the corruption. And people are also become more aware about that giving money will be less for their children, nephews and nieces in their village, city, wherever they live. So it was a good because now this is the thing that everybody think, and from high let's say flux of young people leaving from Kosovo, also it was a sign to the politicians, to the judiciary, to the prosecutor, the system that they need to act in order to avoid, because the young people will not stay in the corrupted countries. They will like to go to European Union, where there is a corruption everywhere in the world, but it's on level which is managed. Right now in Kosovo, we can say that it's managed, and it's managed well. Public procurement system in Kosovo is electronically, so the bidders are not seen with authorities. You have e-procurement, so you just upload the files there, and after 1 hour from the deadline, the winner come up with electronically. So there is no chance to make, how to say, because if you are with a low price, you are the winner. If you fulfill the criteria, you are the winner. So basically, this is one very good thing, because we have everything online. So there is not possibility to be seen with others when you compete, or to know what price you put, because it's this electronic system. It was supported by European Union, so it's e-procurement. So all Kosovo tenders are in e-platform.
Mr. Arsim, corruption is not only corruption can be considered not only in legal terms, but as a social disease, let's say, yeah. And when we're talking about corruption, some people, they have a false impression that it's possible to fight corruption by increasing salaries, but high salaries not automatically lead to the decreasing of corruption. Corruption is something which deals from social practices, or which are derived from social practices, from history, from the way people, let's say, are accustomed to behave, inside the society. What is your opinion? Is it possible really to change the patterns inside society in order to remove all the grounds for corruption?
It is, because as I mentioned in the beginning, Kosovo is a young population. People from Kosovo, let's say, are very young. They did not live in the old time, but now, because of huge international presence in Kosovo, everybody speaks. They're not keen anymore to go into corruption affairs, because they want to have a life. They live like Europeans, because people here They are educated. They go to master degrees in European Union's countries and worldwide, United States. So what they want is they want a career. They want to, because now we have diplomats who became ambassadors, who are for their interest. I'm not saying only increasing the salaries, because for example, before a judge has around 700 euro salary per month. Now he has 2,400 euro. And with 2,400 euro, for example, you can live in Kosovo not well, very good, which means you can have everything what you want. You can go to every month to holidays in the region, or go fly to Vienna, and you can have a good life. So now this is one step into the chain, because having good career, becoming a judge in the 35 years, it's an advantage. And the young people did not know the system like before, because, for example, they are very young. They're very young because they did not live in Yugoslavia. They know the previous, like 89, 80s and above. So they did not know, because in that time Yugoslavia was falling down. Kosovo was in a protest, like you, fighting for the country, like you. We did not. The people of Kosovo did not have chance to see this. That's what I was saying. The older people had better practices on this, because they was living in country. In Kosovo, for example, I can make you sure, you cannot give to the police, if they catch you with the radar, 10 euro, 50 euro, because you will go to the jail. So there is no chance. Nobody in Kosovo did not heard the Kosovo policeman took 10 euro or 100 euro. So it's impossible. This is the way that you can measure one country. There are countries of European Union, when you cross that country, police stop you, and if they see that you are a foreigner, they take you money. In Kosovo, you cannot do this, because thousands and thousands of people was arrested and put it into the sentence because they wanted to give the police the money. It's a sign that the corruption is not anymore in low level. In high level, it's impossible to stop. You know, the politician and people who has access to the money. But the most important is the low level, not to be. The higher level, we will never stop, because we don't see them. We say that there is corruption, but we don't have an argument. Because if there is a corruption, for example, you go to take one document in the municipality, you don't need anymore the civil servant in the municipality. You can have it online. The birth certificate, you can have it online, passport in online, ID card in online. So basically, it doesn't give a chance for corruption.
To less interaction between bureaucrats and people.
Yes. So it's, and now the young people of Kosovo, we want to have work. We want to work worldwide. And those doors will be open only if you have a clear with your state, because nobody wants to work with the corruption people. European Union projects has, and USAID, World Bank, CEDA, all donors. You already see them, but you did not have like us. We had 1,000 donors projects. 1,000 will come to Ukraine. You will see how it will change, how the people will change, because you cannot be a friend of, let's say, a group of the workers who work in international field and in the same time acts like a gangster, because that doesn't work. They will not be your friends, because they will receive information from their people, their official embassies, that this person or that person is a corrupted. So normally the circle, this is how it started. Kosovars understood that the only way to go to the European Union, where we can have a good life, good standards, corruption, zero, never existed, and we will never exist, because this is impossible. I mean, we are human beings, we also do mistakes. But in the level from 0 to 2%, it's okay. We don't mind, because those, we don't see them. But the major contracts to be given to the company unknown, that's not the case in Kosovo. So whatever it happened, because we have a huge presence here. We have KFOR here, which is NATO in reality. We have all the EULEX, which is the largest European Union mission in rule of law. So they train our judges, new judges. They are also checking them. So we basically, this international presence gives Kosovars the chance to not to let's say zero, but to have a limit of corruption and going through the better way of doing, because you cannot go anymore with a corrupted country in European Union, because you know the Bulgarian state was known as police of Bulgaria, was known, but they had struggled in European Union. So they was part of European Union, but they were struggling because they did not finance them very well, because in all the report was not good. Now the case of Ukraine, we as, I mean, I'm saying as a Kosovars, we did not have even much information, because basically after a not recognition of Kosovo by Ukraine, normally we did not have any information regarding Ukraine. Why? Because you know, when the government are not speaking, businessmen are not talking each other, basically we did not have clue idea what is going on. We start hearing about Ukraine during the January, February 2022, you know, on beginning of 2022, that it will be the war. Everybody start to checking how much population there are, what they do, and finally came the war. Everybody was supporting Ukraine. But now it's because I don't know how much is this TV timing, but people of Ukraine has to understand that they have created a new friendship which should be kept. I mean, I saw many of your parliamentarians, they was calling the president of Ukraine, why we don't recognize Kosovo. I know it's not a moment. I know it's not a moment, because it's a different, it will give you, because the Russians are talking about linkage of Donetsk and Luhansk regions are connected, because they are talking about only Kosovo. Lavrov is speaking about Bucha massacres, same like fake massacre, like massacres of Kosovo, which they did the same. So basically they're comparing Kosovo with those two places, because they want to have it for sure. And they occupied, but being occupied, you know, there is always will say occupied territory, never territory. So think in normal way, you know, people on Luhansk and Donetsk, they will maybe not go for at home long time, but if the new government of Russia will change, I think they will think, okay, what we did there, it was not acceptable, because you know, they come to the Ukraine, Ukraine has the borders. So those borders are attacked by one foreign country. Neighbor, it doesn't matter it is or not, but it's a foreign country, because territory of Ukraine is whatever it's Ukraine in United Nations, it cannot be changed.
Mr. Sip, sorry for interrupting you, because again we are running out of time. I was actually planning to ask for let's say 20-25 minutes interview, but we are really going for over an hour. But you know, while I was listening to you, I think that it will be wise to ask you another one question regarding your relationship with Serbia, which was always complicated. I think that partially European Union helped to resolve the conflict between Serbia and Kosovo. You know that still sometimes there are very tense relationship between Kosovo and Serbia, but because Serbia wants to join the European Union, they know the, let's say, limits, they know the borderline which they can't cross, you know, because then they will lose their perspective to join the European Union. So in this regard, I do think that, let's say, it was a mistake on behalf of European Union not to try to connect, let's say, more closer with Russia during the 90s when there was a President Yeltsin, when there were, let's say, Democrats like Gaidar in the power, and there was a very strong sentiment inside political elite to become closer to European Union, to become closer to NATO. Maybe in case European Union provided this impetus for, let's say, Russian political elite, maybe it, you know, it would help to prevent the war and to prevent the emergence of dictatorship in Russia. What do you think about this? Can we compare this with the Serbian example, which received this perspective?
Look at the Kosovo war ended after 78 days of bombing of Serbia in every part. They withdrew from Kosovo because we had a Kosovo Liberation Army, UÇK, which was fighting also, and they was winning also in part of the territory. So basically, Kosovo was sui generis of the time, and it is still sui generis because we have been lived here forever, like you Ukrainians that lived over there. Yeltsin, even in maybe, I don't know how you see this, but for Kosovars, the Russian politicians, they was always dictators. We never see them as Democrats or anything, because the Boris Yeltsin was the president of Russia in that time. He, after the Kumanovo Agreement, which finished the Serbian occupation of Kosovo and moving all the forces from Kosovo forever, he, one night before entering NATO troops, he ordered a Russian KFOR from Bosnia and Herzegovina to enter in Kosovo in order to occupy the airport. So he did. In that time, it was nearly to start the World War III. So it was the same mentality of Boris Yeltsin, which is now Putin as well. He wants to start the war. It's not matter that Ukraine is the first. He would like to go with everybody in order that he to be in power for more than he can live. So maybe he will give the Russian government to his daughter or his brother or whatever who has. So basically the Kosovars never see the Russians to become a Democrats. Becoming a Democrat doesn't mean just to say that I'm a Democrat. It means to act like a Democrat. Yeah. First of all, respecting neighbors, which nobody of them did. The same, it was Boris Yeltsin and this Putin that made aggression in Afghanistan. You remember Afghanistan case. You remember the Chechnya. Now you have Chechnya fighters fighting in Ukraine. Normally, those are not the Chechens. Those are the imposed people, so-called Chechens. Chechens used to fight for their country, but now they're dead or they don't exist anymore.
No, we have in Ukrainian army some troops, Chechen troops, who fight on behalf of Ukraine against.
Yes, those are. But that's what I'm saying. Those are the Kadyrov and this other bandits over there. Those are who will always be over there. So basically, Kosovars never even thought about that one of the president of Russia will be Democrats. What you expect is when the Russia will be democratic country, I think that day that whatever president will come, he should sign a declaration removing all the troops from Crimea and all occupied territory, and like Germans did to Israel, apologizing them to the ground and saying sorry, it was a terrible act of human rights violation, massacres and genocide, what we did to Ukraine, and here is your territory, and we go in our home. Those territory, they remain occupied territory. But in maybe, I don't know how Ukrainian people thought in that time, but for Kosovars, we still did not see any president who was willing to do something more, because I told you, in Kosovo, in '99, in June '99, on 14th of June, Russian troops, drunk, like we see also, stealing same way like they steal in Ukrainian stores and bars and mini markets, stealing food. They did the same situation. KFOR was in the same situation to fight against them. So Wesley Clark, who was a general leading KFOR troops in Kosovo, NATO troops, in General Wesley Clark is General Lieutenant in US Army. he was in his book, he write, it was at night when if they will not withdraw from the places which we saw, it will be a World III started in Kosovo. Now, Ukrainian people know what means democratic Russia. Democratic Russia is not yet seen. I hope it will come, because if they come, nobody has against Russia anything.
Yes.
We have against dictatorship, because I know that a lot of the protests in Russian cities are held in supporting Ukraine. For sure, your country know even better because you are closer there, and you have. So basically, people of Russian, I don't think that they agree with this politics, but politics is politics.
So basically, Russia as Serbia has to be totally defeated, and only in this case, the situation can change.
That's the Serbia is already defeated in Kosovo. Serbia will never anymore have chance to come in Kosovo. That's for sure. I hope the same to the Ukrainian people, because compared for you, it's a stronger Russia, but for us it was strong Serbia, because in that time we did not have army and anything. Luckily, situation has been changed. Now we have our own army. We have everything own. We have our own police. In that time, we had a UCK guerrilla fighters, basically an army of the goodwill people, same like your country. For example, in the beginning of the war, we saw the woman preparing Molotovs in the street of Kharkiv and near the atomic centrals and all these places, and they was waiting for enemy. So, the war doesn't, but at least you had an army. At least you had an army. You had tanks, you had helicopters, MiG-29, and all others. You had a territorial defense, and what more? You have a spirit of the good fighters who love Ukraine. Same like our people, not the one, but more than 20,000 died for this country. Yours, I hope that number is not big, but we all know that it's big. Loss of one human life is loss of the world. We don't count how many more than one. The first it was, then the world doesn't exist anymore, because without a reason we saw that people are dying. We saw the massacres over there. And what we can say that in our mind is 20 years before, and everybody was looking through the windows when the bomb will come, or when they come to kill us or to deportate us. When they deportate you, you was released. They come to the house, they burn the houses, 200,000 was burned, every house was stolen. Basically, they destroyed all Kosovo. Luckily, this has changed for us. I hope that it will change also for you, because I don't think that Ukrainian people has deserved this, because, for example, you was at home. So there is no more saying that the home, and that's the reason you are defending it. But Serbia has learned a lesson. They still did not learn very well, because this is the only country did not impose the sanction to Russian Federation, and they're buying gas. Like even all European Union are removing, and it was a brotherhood between Ukraine and Serbia, and now the real face has been shown. I think the Ukrainian people now they can judge themselves without us Albanians, which we are not in a good relation with Serbia, to tell you, but now you know yourself. The brotherhood, which was considered that existing, now show its real face, that they are the only country with Republika Srpska, also Serbs living there in Bosnia and Herzegovina, which they drive with the cars with Z sign it, and all the others we are making like 1 minute of silence in all parliamentary or for Ukraine flag in stadium and everything. They are the only one that's saying bravo Putin. So bravo Putins mean more and blood, more people to be killed by Ukrainians, more children to not have father and mothers, and future, which is what they want. Because Russia did not start it, and Lavrov was saying that the only Serbia, thank you, Serbia, because they are with us. I think, you know, your friend is telling you when you are in a bad situation, same like you are in a good situation. Ukrainian people has now the chance after the war, the first step to recognize Kosovo and Kosovo to recognize Ukraine in the territory which it is existing and start a new cooperation, because Kosovars and Albanian from Albania, we are the same nation. We are divided into the countries. We have the same, it's in North Macedonia, there is an Albanian population, basically 30%. President of parliament came to visit your country. Vice Prime Minister also, he's Albanian, he came to visit your country. Prime Minister of Kosovo came to visit your country, so in Albania, sorry. So basically, they all came to your country, and I think now it's time that Ukraine do something, because we really, I mean, a lot of the Ukrainians are in Albania, a lot of Ukrainian journalists and people are in Kosovo as well. We think that nothing has started from the big politician. I think that the good cooperation started among people like you and me, with trying to set up linkage and telling people that I was trying, I hope that it's in the end. I would like to say what your president is saying every day, you know, glory to Ukraine, slava to Ukraine, because I speak also a little bit your language. I understand quite well when there is a interview from him. I understand without translation, but unfortunately, in this night, I hope no more victims are. To those that they lost their beloveds, we feel sorry. Kosovars are with Ukraine. So I hope we'll no bomb anymore. We are for peace. Peace means that everybody should be at their home, not coming to the other country.
Thank you very much.
It was a pleasure.
Yeah, the audience, I would like to again remind that today on our show was Mr. Arsim Vranovci, who is the prominent Kosovar businessman and lawyer. Thank you very much, Mr. Arsim, for joining us today. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much also from my side, and to all the people in Ukraine, hope better days will come for you. Have a good evening to all of you.